Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. Today we're excited to introduce you to the new Opsview Enterprise package. This new package now incorporates our proven Obcerv AI capabilities. Obcerv AI provides key machine learning functionality that delivers greater insights and value. The current Opsview version you have is now renamed as Opsview Essentials, where our new Opsview Enterprise package brings you the additional AIOps functionality. Opsview Enterprise with Obcerv AI lets you store granular monitoring data at full fidelity, regardless of your deployment method, whether that's on-premise or in the cloud. It's really easy to use and starts to deliver value with as little as 1 day of data. Our product manager, Scott Evans, will now introduce you to the new Opsview Enterprise package, and our sales engineer, Johan Thoren, will demo its new capabilities. Over to you, Scott.
Thanks, Mike. And so now I'm going to spend some time looking through the capabilities that we can now provide with Opsview Enterprise. One of those key ones being Obcerv AI, which is a number of new capabilities that we couldn't previously offer, and the real focus on this was on making sure we had no complex setup or configuration being required. We're also focused on rapid time to value, so making sure we can deliver those insights with just 1 day of data. You're not waiting for weeks or months of training data before you can see any value from these capabilities. So one of those key capabilities that we're offering is around noise reduction, making sure we can cure alert fatigue by focusing on dynamic thresholds rather than static ones, so you can really focus on what matters. We're also offering anomaly detection, the ability to identify anomalies in your estate before they cause an issue. And this fits really nicely with the next one, on being able to shift from reactive to proactive monitoring. So we're also introducing forecasting, being able to map and track metrics out over periods of weeks or months to understand if something's going to become an issue, when is it going to become an issue, so you can act accordingly and prevent it from being an issue in the first place. And with Opsview Enterprise, we're also including Network Analyzer in there to combine both our infrastructure monitoring as well as additional network monitoring. So you've got that full picture, and you can eliminate dark corners with intelligent network discovery and network topology mapping. So it gives you a view not just for what you're monitoring, but what's connected to your monitoring that you want to include but you don't currently have, and make sure you eliminate those dark corners. And finally, for our cloud customers, we can also offer capacity reports, which will give you just general recommendations across your whole estate, but really focusing on where you can reduce costs by right-sizing some of your underutilized infrastructure. I'll now spend a little bit of time running through these capabilities in a bit more detail. So first up, noise reduction. And that quote at the top there really highlights the problem we're trying to solve. The ignore that, it always alerts at 9 AM on a Monday. And as you can see on the diagram on the right, that blue area is the normal behavior for that particular check. And with the static threshold, you might get 5 false alerts. But actually that's in normal behavior, and you're missing the one real alert, the time when it went above the normal behavior, and that's the one you really want to focus on and solve. And the idea of this is that it just removes the false positives for your key checks where you utilize dynamic thresholds. So CPU and memory utilization, network latency, as well as disk capacity. You also benefit from anomaly detection with this functionality. So you've been able to understand abnormal behavior that won't get picked up through normal static thresholds. It might indicate a bigger problem that you want to investigate before it becomes a real issue. It's really around detecting those issues early before they become incidents, and can be used on all of the same checks as we just talked about, so CPU and memory, network and disk, across your entire estate, to make sure you prevent issues from happening in the first place. And that brings us nicely onto forecasting. The question of, is this likely to break? And if it is, when? Get that full picture. So depending on the type of metric, we adjust what that forecasting model looks like, and it gives you a view for, is this going to break in a couple of weeks, or is it going to be a month, or is it in fact going to be a couple of days and you need to do something immediately? And you can use this for examples like storage drives running out of space, there could be memory leaks, or growth in CPU. You can use this on a whole host of different metrics to see that trend over time. And finally, capacity reports. This is for our cloud customers, as mentioned earlier, but the real focus on this is showing you some of the growth trends, the additional headroom you might have, but also identifying those cost savings, showing you underutilized infrastructure such as data storage with CPU, with memory, across your entire estate, so you can make sure you focus on what's going to give you the best bang for buck in terms of cost savings, and you can run that on a regular basis. I'll now hand it over to Johan, who's going to give you a demo of some of these new capabilities.
Hi everyone. Today I'm excited to walk you through a brief demo of 3 powerful new features in Opsview Enterprise with Obcerv AI. First, we'll explore dynamic thresholds, which help you detect anomalies and reduce alert noise. Next, we'll configure a forecast in the Obcerv UI, enabling you to be more proactive in your monitoring. And finally, I'll demonstrate a capacity report that can help you right-size your environment, saving money and improving reliability. Let's start by showing you the benefits of Opsview's dynamic thresholds feature. Let's dive straight into the dashboard and see how it compares to traditional static thresholds. What you're looking at here are 2 identical service checks, both monitoring the memory utilization on the same server. The only difference, on the left we're using static thresholds, a traditional 80% warning and 90% critical threshold. On the right we're using Opsview's new dynamic thresholds feature, which adjusts based on historical data and typical usage patterns. The performance graphs at the top give us a look at memory utilization over time, showing the kind of fluctuations you would expect from a production server with daily highs and lows. These are typical patterns driven by normal workloads. Now let's look at the events. On the left, with static thresholds, we have 9 events recorded in just over a day. These are hard states, meaning that the system has confirmed these conditions persist and are real alerts, not just potential issues. The 9 events represent 4 discrete incidents, with the state switching from OK to either warning or critical and then back to OK. Each of these incidents reflect a spike in memory usage. Some are warnings, and there is also a critical alert indicating that memory utilization reached 80% several times and 90% at least once. But the warnings here are actually not real incidents, but rather minor noise when considering the daily usage pattern, where the memory utilization happened to go just above 80%. This is common when static thresholds are in place. They can trigger alerts for normal behavior, especially on production systems with variable workloads. Oftentimes, engineers have to spend time manually tweaking each host's thresholds as usage patterns change. This becomes an ongoing task to avoid unnecessary alerts, adding more complexity and manual effort to the monitoring process. Now compare that to the right side, where dynamic thresholds are in use. Here we only see 2 events during the same period, corresponding to a single incident. That's a 75% reduction in events. Instead of reacting to every fluctuation, the dynamic thresholds adapt to what's normal for this server. It only alerts you when something truly unusual happens, something worth your attention. And I know for a fact that this was an anomaly, because that's me manually triggering a memory usage spike. The rest of the events on the left were triggered by normal usage levels, moving just slightly above 80%. Think about what that means for your operations. With static thresholds, you would be reacting to 4 different incidents in just over a day, but with dynamic thresholds, you're only alerted for a single incident, and that is the one that matters. That's 75% less noise in our example, and you're only focusing on the true anomalies, not normal behavior that doesn't require intervention. Imagine extending this across a large part of your infrastructure. If you're monitoring thousands of hosts, cutting down unnecessary alerts by a significant percentage on hosts with a lot of noise would lead to a significant reduction in false positives, saving your team time and allowing them to focus on real issues. Because this isn't just about reducing alerts, it's about you responding to the right alerts. Think of the business impact. If your team can focus on the actual problems instead of chasing false positives, how much sooner would you be back up and running? How many outages could be avoided altogether? Since every minute of downtime costs money and impacts customer satisfaction, being able to focus on actual issues and resolve them more quickly can make a huge difference to your bottom line. Now let's take a look at being able to avoid issues in the first place with Opsview Forecaster. I'm going to walk you through setting up and using the Forecaster within our Obcerv AI platform. This tool helps predict potential issues by analyzing historical data and generating forecasts. This will allow you to proactively manage your infrastructure. With Opsview Forecaster, you're not just reacting to issues, but anticipating them. This can significantly reduce downtime and operational costs. We start by configuring a new forecast. As you can see, the Forecaster UI is a part of the Obcerv AI platform. This allows you to slice data in more ways than what would be possible with traditional Opsview terminology. To keep things simple, we will use a familiar approach by filtering first by host and then by metric. Select the Filter drop-down, go to the Dimensions tab, and select Host. After that, type out the name of the host to search or select one in the list, in this case main production server. By selecting this host, Forecaster filters the available metrics and show only those available for this specific host. Now in the metrics drop-down we can select storage utilization percentage. Selecting 5 days as our look-back window, we get a forecast based on the past 5 days. This window can be up to 28 days. We'll leave the bucket interval as automatic for now to have the forecaster select the most appropriate bucket size based on our look-back window. We can define warning and critical thresholds based on our operational needs. For this example, let's set a single critical threshold at 95%. With our configuration and thresholds in place, the forecast is now generated. The forecast visualization displays the current utilization as a blue line, with the dotted purple line representing the forecasted usage. This visual insight helps you anticipate potential issues and take preventive action before they impact your operations. Sending alerts when the threshold levels are breached will also be possible in a future release of Opsview. Having a clear visual representation of forecasted data enables better decision-making. It empowers your team to take timely actions, such as allocating additional resources. This not only improves operational efficiency, but also enhances your ability to meet service level agreements. If we want to save this forecast, all we have to do is give it a config group and a name. This makes it easy to find, manage, and adjust our forecasts as needed. A centralized view of all your forecasts allows for better oversight and quick adjustments. This means your monitoring strategy can adapt in real time, keeping pace with changing business needs and minimizing the risk of unexpected failures. By using Opsview Forecaster, you're not just monitoring your infrastructure, but actively managing it. Don't wait for the failure. Predict potential issues, reduce downtime, and improve system reliability by taking preemptive action based on forecasted data. This level of foresight is invaluable in maintaining a stable and efficient IT environment, ultimately driving better business outcomes. Another way of taking advantage of our forecasting abilities to reduce cost and increase reliability is the all-new capacity reports feature. These reports are designed to help you optimize resource usage. By highlighting servers that are either over-provisioned or under-provisioned, they allow you to both reduce cost and prevent downtime. Capacity reports will allow you to predict issues early, take proactive actions, minimize downtime, and maximize savings. The report begins with an executive summary, which provides a high-level overview of your infrastructure. For example, in our sample report, you can see that the current resource usage trends suggest that the service has enough headroom until August 2024. The growth trends section provides a deeper dive into resource usage and forecasts based on historical data. It calculates daily CPU and memory utilization percentiles and highlights any resource constraints. For example, CPU utilization for the Ecom MySQL 2 server is expected to grow from 25% to 57% over the next year, hitting its amber threshold by August 2024. Memory utilization on several servers is expected to remain flat, indicating no immediate concerns with the capacity available beyond 2030. The report uses red, amber, green colors to indicate risks, red for critical and amber for potential constraints. This gives a clear visual overview of servers that might soon require attention. This next section is critical for optimizing both costs and performance. It identifies servers that are either idle, underused, or under-provisioned, suggesting which servers might be right-sized to either save money or eliminate bottlenecks. For example, the Opsview server is flagged for high CPU utilization, and the report recommends increasing its CPU count. Conversely, Ecom MySQL and Ecom Tomcat servers are identified as underused, with recommendations to decrease their CPU allocation. These insights allow you to minimize both spending by reducing excess capacity and downtime by addressing resource bottlenecks. Capacity reports give you actionable insights without additional effort. This will help you run your infrastructure efficiently and reliably, both now and in the future.
Thanks, Johan, for that interesting demo. So to summarize, Opsview Enterprise with Obcerv AI gives you the data and the analytics to cure alert fatigue, provide proactive forecasting, and drive improved monitoring performance. This will help you meet your SLAs, boost profitability, and drive growth. The new Opsview Enterprise release is available from today, so please do reach out to your account manager for a more detailed presentation and demonstration. Thank you for attending today, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.